Hey crafters! Well, I am, yet again, getting ready, head into the thrift store to do a little bit of thrift shopping. You guys know I love thrift shopping. I love finding pieces that may be vintage or maybe just pieces that didn't work for somebody else but might work for me. I also love finding things that I might be able to thrift flip or upcycle into a crafty project and maybe turn them into something that's a little more unique and might be customized to me. In today's project, I'm going to show you a few pieces that I found recently over the last several months, and I'll show you the things that need a little bit of DIY love about these pieces. I love all of them, but there's something about each one that isn't quite right, but I think we can fix it. A couple of these pieces are going to involve one of my favorite things ever. My favorite way to thrift flip things is to tie-dye them, so I'm definitely throwing some of that in today's project. But another piece is just more of a thrift fix because it has a few issues, but I think with a little bit of sewing, a little bit of crafty magic, I think we can change it into something that works really well. Come along on today's crafting adventure. I'll first show you a little bit of footage of just some of my favorite craft finds lately, and then I'll take you back home and show you the pieces that I ended up purchasing and what I'm thinking about for thrift flipping them. Just a hint, I'm actually wearing one of them right now, so the project worked. I actually really like it, so yes. Come along on the DIY, upcycling, thrift flipping, fixing journey today. See if you get inspired to try a little bit of thrifting, maybe even a little bit of thrift fixing of your own this spring. Let's head to the thrift store and then let's get started. Well, I got excited when I found this dress at a thrift store because I love t-shirt dresses, especially for spring, summer, well, fall. Give me a maxi one, I'll wear it all year. But I love, they're super comfy and you could dress them up or just dress them down and it just kind of always seems to work. And this one is from Pure Jill, which is a line from J. Jill. And they have some really nice fabrics that they work with, and I don't usually purchase brand new from them, but I was excited to find this secondhand a little more in my price range, of course. The only problem is it is not a great color for me. I appreciate olive green, but olive green does not love me back. It's probably one of the worst colors for me to wear, at least near my face. Like, I could wear it in pants or a skirt, but yeah, this one just doesn't work for me. And you know what that means, right? that means that gives me a great excuse to bust out a little dye and change this one up. And I think I get to use one of my favorite Rit dye colors. I tried out the Truly Green, I think in December when I did my upcycled holiday outfit, and I changed some white jeans into some very green holiday jeans. I'll try to link to that project. That was a fun project. And I do love this dye color because it's a cooler tone green than some of the other Rit dyes. And I haven't loved their other greens in the past because they always skewed more olive. And this one definitely goes more on the cool side. So we have found our green color. Thank you, Rit dye. This is awesome. And I think this is going to be great to just kind of take this dress into a cooler tone direction, but still keep the green theme going on because I am really enjoying green. There's a lot coming out this season, and I enjoy it so much. It's so fresh and springy. Love it. I'm still playing around with ideas for dyeing this one. I'm almost thinking of trying another dip dye project. You guys might remember I've tried this a few times before, and I'm kind of learning each time as I go how I like to do it. I think what I would probably end up doing would be dyeing the top of the dress green and like slowly kind of like dip it into the dye so that the top is darker, lighter, 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 and then maybe kind of leave the bottom the olive green, but hopefully get kind of a darker to lighter effect going across the dress. That's kind of my thought. I am also dealing with some pockets on the side, so hopefully that won't be too weird, but yeah, I think that's where I want to go with this. I definitely want to keep it simple, but that might just be kind of interesting and a way to play with the colors and patterns that are already on the dress. Okay, let's try that. Well, you guys, I find some of my favorite t-shirts secondhand. Of course, you got to search because many secondhand t-shirts are really worn or stained. But if you find a new one or one in really great shape, you can often find some really unique screen printing and just some fun things out there. So I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. It says every trail connects, and it is from REI. So got ourselves a hiking outdoorsy t-shirt here. Of course, it is the wrong color, so we got to work on that as well. This one, unfortunately, is 60% cotton, but with 40% polyester. We can still dye that with regular Rit dye. It's just not going to take the dye as well as it would if it was all cotton. And yes, I think I'm going to be doing this one green too, because why not? I love this green. I was trying to decide if I wanted to maybe tie this one up with like starbursts all over it and make it, you know, super like hippie, hikey, fun. And I thought that would work well. But now that I'm kind of thinking about fiber content, I'm not quite sure if the starbursts would turn out really clearly because this may not dye that dark. So then my second thought was, well, why don't we dip dye this as well and do it very similar to the dress? Like, you know, dip in the neckline area so it's darker up there and go lighter and lighter to the bottom, and then leave maybe a band at the bottom that isn't dyed so it kind of keeps some of that green. Hopefully the white screen printing will, you know, still, you know, stay kind of lighter and still be readable on the dyed fabrics. That should be okay. I'm thinking that may be the way to go with this guy. Of course, you guys have been giving me lots of great comments about tips for dyeing and sewing and all those good things. Thank you for those. I'm learning a lot, and I'm applying what you're advising me wherever I can. So thanks for those good tips. People were reminding me when dip dyeing to definitely make sure you get your garment wet, because that's going to help the dye kind of bleed across the garment instead of just leaving like stark lines. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. I'll need to tie up these garments a little bit because I'm going to want to put like a plastic bag kind of around the bottom, scrunch it up into a bag with some rubber bands. I might also put some rubber bands kind of down the shirt to just give me some increments to dye to and to create a little bit of texture. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I mean, I think about that. I definitely need to prep the dress as well. And then, of course, we're going to be following package directions on Ye Olde Writ Dye. I'm sorry, this is not going to focus very well for us. But I'm going to be doing this in my sink. I'll be heating up some water really hot. I'll be adding a little dish soap and some salt to my dye bath, which they recommend for cotton and for rayon. Of course, our dress is cotton and rayon, so that will be good. Then I'll be using a little like dish drying rack and kind of lowering my garments into the dye slowly, hopefully by increments, setting a timer in between each one. And then once this is, you know, been dyed to the color I want, I'll take it out. And then I'll fill up my sink again with some hot water and add some fixative to try to kind of lock that color in a bit, following the directions on the fixative, of course. I think that sits for about 20 minutes. And then we can launder the garments. And hopefully we've got some fun colors going on. Let's head to the kitchen laboratory and take a look at our supplies and get started. On second thought, let's not head to the kitchen lab just yet. I do need to tie up the bottom of these garments, and you can see I've gotten the bottom part wet. Thanks for the tip, guys. I'm going to try to keep that part wet so that when the garment is being dipped, hopefully we might get a little bit of a bleed up into the non-dyed part instead of more of a line. Of course, I'll be getting the whole garment wet here in a minute, but since I'm doing this on my cutting board, I was just dipping in that part that I'm going to put in the bag, getting that wet, and using a tray to protect that. Of course, probably good idea to do this on your kitchen floor or something like that. Let's see, how much of the dress? Let's do the dress first. You know, how much do I want in there? I try to kind of put an even amount in the bag. Make sure I'm getting both the front and the back. Let's see, side seam over there. Okay. Scrunchy, scrunchy, scrunchy. Find my side seam over here. Okay. Let's see here. Trying to make sure I'm getting about the same amount of fabric. Okay, I think I'm going to put this much in the bag. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Now we gotta get a rubber band on there. Could be exciting. Let's see here. Let's do this guy. All right, there we go. All right, and I'll probably end up dipping it pretty close to my rubber band. Maybe even scooch the rubber band back and get it to come up a little bit more there, but that'll at least protect the bottom from getting totally splashed on later. Okay, let's get this guy out of the way. Okay, let's talk t-shirts. There we go. All right, trying to get nice little even kind of. Okay, so let's kind of do it up to there ish. There we go. If any of you guys have some more tips for me on dip dyeing, let me know, because I was getting some good ones in the comment. Always good to get some good ideas and ideas for troubleshooting and all that good stuff. There we go. All right, I think that's about where we want it. Now it's time to head to the kitchen. Let's go. Okay, guys, I've got my supplies in place. Of course, we're going to need a little dish soap and salt to head to the dye bath. Always want to have some cleaner and paper towel ready. Gloves are good. A stirring spoon for dye is good. Of course, I'm covering up surfaces as much as I can. Have some old towels in place. And then I do have my rack that I'm going to use to help kind of lower the garments in. I may end up using some chip clips to hold the garments to the rack. And then, of course, we'll have dye in the sink below. Okay, let's fill up the sink, add some of our dye, and get to dip dyeing. Here we go. Okay, guys, we got our sink filled up. I think as high as we want to go. Got a whole bunch of salt in there. Got some dish soap. You can tell the salt isn't dissolved yet, so we have to stir that a little bit. Maybe better to dissolve the salt before you add the dish soap. Yeah, good idea. I can't see very well. Alright, that's getting better. I've used some of this green already, so I think I'm going to be adding about half a bottle. I think is about what I'm aiming for. We'll see if that's enough. Okay. I'm going to start with that. I think hope that's what we need. Okay, let's stir this in. Whoa. Suddenly looks like Christmas in here. That's awesome. Cool. Wow, that's a beautiful color. Love that. Okay, let's get our rack into place. This one's from my parents. I think it's like a roll-out dish rack or something. I think that's what it's called. Very handy for this process. Thank you, Mom and Dad. All right, next step, we got to get the rest of those garments wet. There we go. Okay. I don't want them too soaking. Alright, so I did decide against adding rubber bands to give me increments because I didn't want to have the rubber band marks. But I think I'm probably going to I'm going to aim for maybe to under the sleeve. And then another chunk in the middle, and then a chunk in the bottom. So maybe 3 chunks. We'll see. Probably do something similar for the shirt. Let's see. Oh, he's not all the way wet. Ah! Okay, did we fix it? And I don't want him sopping, but I don't want him patchy. Let's see. A little more water. Okay, I think we're good. Let's get the dress in first because it takes up more room. Okay. Here we go. Oh man. Whoa. Okay, that's right about under the sleeve. Get that up there. And kind of get this kind of even the way it's sitting. Oh boy. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. all submerged. Okay, let's add our shirt. All right. Okay, there we go. And then a little bit more. Get this over here. All right. Well, I'm trying to decide exactly how long I want to let this sit before I add the next increment of fabric. I think I might do maybe like 10 minutes. And then the next chunk, 10 minutes, and the next chunk. So then the first chunk will be getting a total of about 30 minutes. Which it seems like with a lot of RIT dyes, 30 minutes is pretty dark. Like, you don't need to usually go more than that to get a good dark color. So let's aim for that. I'm gonna come around and kind of stir this around a little bit periodically so that hopefully we get some even-ish dyeing going on with the part that's in the dye. And then I'll see in a second to add the next bit. Here we go. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Let's carefully take a peek here. Okay, t-shirt's definitely going a little more in the olive direction. Let's see how our shirt's doing. Dress. Ooh, we're getting a little more of a cool tone there. Cool, cool, cool. All right, we're going to go up another increment. Go another 10 minutes or so and see what happens. Okay, guys, I actually let the last one be in for a little less than 10 minutes. It was actually closer to 6 minutes. I started to get kind of paranoid that we would lose the variation, like the darkest or the first part to go in and the second part to go in might just reach color saturation and might not show much difference. And I didn't want the last piece to not be different either. So we'll see about that. Maybe I should have left the pieces in for less time. We'll see. I also kind of pulled the bags back and dunked the piece in a little bit and like held it there for, I don't know, 30 seconds or something like that, just to try to blur the edge a little bit of, can't really see this guy, but just to blur the edge a little bit of like what had touched dye and what hadn't. We'll see if that helps as well. I don't know, but I am really enjoying this color. Wow, very cool. Okay, so I've got my sink filled up again, more hot water, got my fixative in there. I'm going to keep the bags on these guys and just dunk the part that got dyed into the fixative. And then after about 20 minutes, I can then wash and dry these things and show you what they look like. Yay! Well, we got a really cute dress, you guys. This is This is great. I am pretty happy with the results. I think I have learned some things, and there's some things I can improve the next time I experiment with this whole dip dye idea. But overall, I am pretty happy. I do love this color, and I'm excited that the color that I couldn't wear has now been transformed into something I am looking forward to wearing for sure. Okay, let's talk color gradient on this dress. In person, I can definitely tell that the top of the dress is darker and more saturated than, say, the middle section. That said, I think we did kind of reach what I was thinking might happen. The point of the top part of the fabric kind of reached its saturation point where it wasn't going to get much darker. And then the middle section, I feel like got kind of close to that. And so the difference from the top to the middle is not that much. I am glad that I let the last section sit in the dye for less time. I think that was like 5 or 6 minutes. And that one is definitely lighter and kind of patchier, actually. Shows more of the other color through. I also like this really light bit at the bottom. That's the part that I kind of just dunked into the dye a little bit beyond the dye line, and I just kind of dunked the fabric in just a little bit more and just swished it around for, gosh, I don't know, less than a minute, maybe like 30 seconds or something, to try to blur the line a bit, and that happened. But I think next time I'll try to leave it in a little bit longer, just that last section, and maybe swish it around, stir it a little bit more, so it might be a little less kind of patchy. But I'm glad that happened. I feel like the gradient at the bottom is definitely easier to see. So next time I do this, I think I want to leave my sections in probably closer to 5 minutes. And I definitely want to stir them around a little bit more. This whole dip dye thing is definitely something I'm learning. You might notice there are some patchy bits. And yeah, I tried to stir the dipped in part around a bit, but I think I need to stir it more to try to get that a little more even. Like, it's fine, but yeah, a little more even would be nice. So, lessons learned on that one. You definitely want to keep experimenting with the dip dye, and I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out because the color I can wear is at the top, and the color I can't wear so much is at the bottom, and now I can wear both. So, this is great. I'm excited to wear this one, so I want to put an outfit together, and I'll show you when I do that. Well, here is the t-shirt, you guys. I think the tie-dye and the dip dye process really fits the character of this t-shirt and kind of takes it to the next level, makes it more fun and interesting. I love this. And I really love how the screen printing of the lettering pops more a little bit against the darker green that we got. I love this kind of fringy bit at the bottom. Yeah, I love that. This one did turn out a little bit less cool tone green. I mean, partially because the olive green was kind of a dark color to begin with, and we have that 40% polyester in there. So it's not going to dye as true as, say, something 100% cotton. I will say I wish this one had gotten a little bit cooler toned, but that's okay. Also, kind of hard to see, but we did get some patchy bits near the top of the garment, and that's the part that was in the dye the longest. So, yeah, I need to stir stuff more. Note to self, stir stuff more. Also, I think we would have gotten that clearer gradient if I had dipped the sections in for less time. I mean, there is a gradient. It's a little hard to see on film, but I think it'd be clearer otherwise. So, note to self. I am, however, excited to take this outside for some outdoorsy, hikey adventures. So, I'll have to show you when I got that outfit put together. Well, we have another thrifted candidate for our Thrift Flip, Thrift Fix project today. And this one is, yes, another t-shirt dress. But I really like it. This one's from Karen Scott Sports. I like the color. I like the length. I like those sleeves. It may look a little bit modeled on camera, just it is a little bit damp as well, but it is in really good shape. And I think this one will be fun to wear. The only thing I don't love is the width of that boat neckline. Like, I love a boat neckline. Looks super classic. Only problem is this one is really wide on me, and it sits beyond the point where my bra straps sit on my shoulder, and so it shows the straps just consistently. Like, they just show when I'm wearing the dress. And, I mean, it happens, but I kind of want to find a way to work around that and kind of get those out of view a little bit. I have seen on some kind of higher end pieces and also some vintage pieces a little trick for hiding those bra straps, and I think I want to use that on this dress. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about, and I'll show you what I'm thinking. Here's the one I got done. Got one edge of my thin little twill tape stitched down near the neck. And then, of course, we've attached our snaps. I measured my bra strap to figure out how long I wanted these to be. Here are the supplies I used. I was using just some thin cotton twill tape, kind of soft stuff because it's going to be right on my shoulder. I could totally have used ribbon or maybe even some thin elastic. I've seen that used as well. I wish I had something that matched a little better so that if this showed, then it wouldn't be so bright. But anyway, that's what I got. Thankfully, I had a matching thread. Wow, that's kind of awesome. And then, of course, here's my other little snap that I need to sew on to finish up this last one. Tell there's a little mark where the rest of that snap needs to go. I would have loved to have scooted these a little closer to the neckline. But again, I was worried about that bright white showing under the neck. And actually the fabric was kind of lumpy there too with the neck binding. So anyway, hopefully this will help make the problem a little bit less. Hopefully it won't make the neckline too gapey. We'll experiment. We'll try it out. Oh, also, I did realize while doing this, I'm trying to remember if it's on this side or the other side, I found a tiny little hole in the fabric on the back. So after I stitch that snap on, I'm going to be busting out my iron-on patch collection, not the denim ones, but I think I've got some other colors. I collect these in every color possible because this kind of thing always seems to happen. So that's on the list too. Let's first get the snap on there and then we'll talk patches. Okay, well, I've got the final snap stitched down. The bra loops are done. I've got my iron heating up so that I can get that little tiny iron-on patch onto that little tiny hole on the back. Of course, I'll just be doing that on the inside of the garment and using package directions for that. So I'm not going to film that part, but I will be taking care of that little problem as well. But looking at this dress, I am thinking of a whole bunch of outfit ideas for wearing this for spring, summer. I think I'm going to enjoy wearing this a lot. And not to mention, I really enjoy this color. This is awesome. I'm even wearing it today, which is kind of weird. Anyway, very cool. Hey, if you get behind thrift flipping things that aren't quite right for you, but turning them into something you love, or even just altering things from your own closet to customize them to you, hey, give this video a big thumbs up. And consider subscribing to Partners in Craft because we are always up to something crafty around here. And we'd love to have you back for more adventures. I'm going to put some outfit together and I will show you what this looks like when I'm done.